to start the show again. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Different Shades of Blue with Joe Bonamassa right here on Sirius XM Radio. Big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for Miss Joanne Shaw Taylor. Thank you for being with us, Joanne. Like I said, I have known this woman, this very, very talented woman and very kind-hearted woman. She's one of my best friends in the world. And for almost 15 years, I would say, yeah, probably 2004, 2005, maybe a little after that.
Yeah, give or take.
And one of the things that I always say about Joanne Shaw Taylor is the reason why you're a cut above, to me, is you understand the concept of songs. Your melodic sense, you write great songs. And one of the things that I think plagues our genre is there's so many great musicians in it, but sometimes the song, and I've been guilty of this more times than not, is sometimes the song is left behind in lieu of the fire and the fury. So how do you approach that? Do you write songs to make an album of something that you'd be proud of as a listener, or do you write songs kind of going, I need something fast, or I need something slow, or I just got something to say?
I think, firstly, thank you. Those are very lovely words.
Thank you.
I think I've always just approached it from a songwriting point of view, and you've been very pivotal for me in this. By the way, it's like -12 backstage.
Yeah.
I'm freezing cold and my throat's really dry, which I think you did on purpose. Yeah, so from a songwriting point of view, I think the important thing for me, and again, you were pivotal in this, in that you have been a mentor to me. I think that's fair to say. You've been a best friend, and you've been there very early on in my career. I mean, we met just before my first album came out, White Sugar.
Right, yeah.
And that was one thing from the get-go, and I remember sending you some demos or early recordings of the album, and I remember you picked out a song called Just Another Word.
Yeah, it was great. It's a great song.
And that was one of the first times that you said to me, you know, that you thought my songwriting was good, and you've been kind of detrimental in helping me go down that route and focus on songs. And I think I've always just tried to do the most honest song I can do, and the best song I can do, you know.
Right.
If you stick with honesty, I think in songwriting, it's just going to come through, you know, that's the message that people kind of...
Well, you were mentored early on in your career. You met, and speaking of songwriters, you met and were mentored by to be one of the greatest of all time, Mr. Dave Stewart. And not only did he mentor you, you actually stole his Telecaster, right?
Again, you remember those things that I tell you at midnight?
Right.
And not things that we do on television or radio shows.
What was it like? What was it like being in Dave Stewart's orbit? Because that is, and I've gotten to know Dave a little bit in the last year or so.
Yeah, with Michael Connection.
Yeah, with the connection with Michael Rhodes, and the thing, you know, with Dave is, he's just a creative dude. I mean, his whole thing is creativity. He's constantly writing, constantly working, and there's no off. What was it like being in his orbit? You know,
I think it was Dennis Hopper said about him that it's like lightning in a bottle, this Dave.
Yeah.
And when you're around him, it's creative genius. It's madman. It's circus leader. It's, you know, it's all of those things, and the ideas come out like. You know, it's like, oh, we should do this TV show, like The Voice, but for songwriters. Right, you do that, right. Oh, let's open a new nightclub that's only a few musicians, and you have to write a song to get in. And it's just bang, bang, bang. It's all these ridiculous ideas. So I think for me, from the get-go, one, just being around that kind of energy, you know, it was kind of electrifying, you know, and fantastic. To have someone in my corner that was that creative, you know, that thought I was worth investing in. Right. You know, because I was 15 years old, and I was actually living with Dave at the time, so I moved to London, but I was too young to be living by myself, obviously, and have children my age. And he just was the first guy that kind of he took me for a drive, and he asked me, he said, what's everyone's favourite guitar solo? I said, well, I think it's usually like, you know, Hotel California.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, because it's in a great song. And you can play the greatest guitar solo in the world, but if it's not in a great song, no one's ever going to hear it. You know?
That is honestly the greatest point anybody can make, because when you listen to songs like, starting at the very beginning, I mean, My Guitar Gently Weeps, or Layla, or, you know, and any of the stuff, it's like you remember the song. And, you know, Stairway to Heaven, it's a great song with a great guitar solo, you know. And one of the things that I notice about you is as your records progress, your singing is becoming world class, and your on-stage delivery and your persona is becoming world class. And, you know, is that something that you consciously work on? Are you like me, riddled with self-doubt and an internet connection, and then you Google yourself, and then you go, oh, that sucked Bonamassa, and then you troll yourself on YouTube, and then you stay up to like 4 o'clock in the morning, and this like orgy of self-loathing and doubt. Do you do any of that?
I'm making a mental note that we really need to talk when this interview's over. That's why I keep waking up to missed calls at 4 o'clock. Somebody love me! Yeah, basically, I do. There's got to be something wrong with you that if you decide for a living, you want people to applaud you. Like that's what we do. Hey? You know, so the fact that you go and do that for a living is not a normal way to live, really. So yes, there's always that thing of, when you put yourself in the spotlight like that, I think there's always going to be a lot of internalizing everything. What was the original question? Because now I'm just thinking about my mental health.
The original question is, it's like, how do you hone the craft? How do you hone the craft? Because we're not in the guitar business. You're a great guitar player. You're a great singer, great songwriter. We're not in the guitar business. We're not in the song business. We're not in the singing business. We're in the entertainment business. Okay, so it's the entirety of the whole. It's the entire show. It's the package. It's the image. It's the way you carry yourself on the stage. You know, do you consciously go? Do you go back and reflect on your previous work and then say to yourself, okay, this is the stuff I need to work on. I like what I did here. I shouldn't venture off into this anymore.
I think for me, there's a few things. Firstly, I want to keep moving forward. Like, I have to keep getting better. In terms of the insecurity, I will say from day one, I've always been quite insecure about my guitar playing. And I think I also knew, and some of it was from talking to Dave and him encouraging me that I could be more than just a guitar player, I could be a singer, he thought I could be a songwriter.
Right.
And I realised I wanted that, but there was also the thing in my head that I think I'm strong because I'm a strong package. You know, I knew I was never going to be an Ingve Malmsteen, you know.
Right.
I'm not going to do 2 hours of guitar and have it be, you know, Jeff Beck, biblical kind of. But I knew that I could be Joanne Shaw Taylor. I knew I could be different. I could be, which is one thing I am, is that there's not another of me. You know, if you want to see Joanne Shaw Taylor play, there's only one Joanne Shaw Taylor to go to play. You know, those songs. So yeah, I mean, I think with the voice, I've gotten a lot more comfortable with that. I think for me at this stage of my career, it's just about the songs, trying to put out the best, honest work I can do that reflects who I am as an artist, what I want to say. But yeah, how you keep moving that forward, I don't know, and that's really my kind of worry, I think, more than anything, is that, am I going to get better? Can I get better? How do I do that? You know, there's no roadmap of how to be a good songwriter, you know?
Yeah, and there's no rule book. I mean, I find at the end of the day, hopefully, you're only as good as your last gig. So if you were pretty good last night, I think we were. If you're pretty good last night, you know, that's all you can do. And you know, I subscribe to you give 100% of whatever percentage you got on that day. And if you do that, people respond to it. On a completely different note, I know for you, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I know for you, it's just, for you, it's a tremendous honor for yourself to be up here with me.
I know where the bodies are buried, Joseph. We've been friends for 14 years. Before you proceed.
I know it's an honor, and it's not lost on me, and I appreciate the compliment.
You know we have the Joe and Joe Club.
What are the
we
things
decided a long time ago that you're not the coolest member in the Joe and Joe Club.
Exactly. One of the things that a lot of people don't see from a consumer point of view is what it takes to market yourself. And one of the things that happens on a day-to-day basis, and we talk about this a lot, is, and what I try to do with these little chats and interviews is do the un-interview. Because there's, you know, I've had interviews where people just, like, they start thinking, so Joe, you started guitar when? I said, you know, fucking Google me, man, if you're gonna ask me that bullshit.
Do you ever do this,
but the question is what are some of the, like, things as a female artist that interviewers ask you that you just want to reach through the phone, grab them, and just go, you have no business being a journalist, and I don't know why I signed up to talk to bluesblog.org. What are some of the things that just make you, like, seething, like, really, you're gonna ask me that after all this?
I mean, the big elephant in the room is what's it like to be a female guitar player, which it's like, oh, what?
Yeah, this is
Fucking
serious radio.
is don't dictate my guitar tone. Which is only ever men that ask the question, by the way. Nobody else who has overs thinks that they might get in the way of the guitar strings. But yeah, so it's things like that. And then the other thing I get a lot, which is that I only ever get compared to other females.
Right.
And a lot of people think there's a lot of competition between me and other females. They seem to. So I get a lot of people saying, "Don't worry, I don't like some fish as much as I like you." I'm like, I don't care. It sounds great.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of fake kind of competition there, which is ridiculous. It's music. Just because you buy my album doesn't mean you can't buy yours, or
exactly.
There's no gold medal. So those things are a little bit frustrating because you just kind of think. Can we talk about the 12 songs I just wrote that took, like, a lot of fucking hard work?
Exactly, thank you. What's, you know, you're out there, you work a lot, you know, what are the you know, speaking about, you give 100% of what percentage you have on stage on a given evening. What are the hardest things to maintain as an artist? Because you want to go, obviously you want to go out there front and center every night and just pin them against the back wall and go, I'm nailing it. But, you know, as you know, it's like, you know, when you're touring, especially in the summertime, you're chasing festivals, so you're in Spain one night, you're in London the next night, and then you're in, you know, Italy the next, and you're flying, like, you know, flybe.com, and they're losing your guitar, and you're up at 5 o'clock in the morning, and you're like, man, this is like it's tough. What are the hardest things to maintain for you? What are you conscious of every day to make sure that the performance at least has a fighting chance to be your best?
I think at this point, and actually this was something I wanted to talk to you about anyway, it's just stamina. You know, at this point I'm not 21 years old anymore. We've had this conversation, you know, there's something about turning 30 that literally the next day hangovers are like way worse than I've ever been. And you breathe and you gain 10 pounds. It's like, you know, it's just a different point way into your 20s.
Air has a lot of calories, by the way. It's a secret killer. It's killing us all as we speak.
So, you know, trying to, because it is a ridiculous amount of the travelling. It's just exhausting, you know.
It's exhausting.
And to keep that pace year after year and have it not take its toll on you physically or, you know, your vocals or anything like that. I think that's the most difficult thing for me, so that I am in just good shape to be able to go out there and nail it. So you know, it's a workout out there.
Yeah. What are the most gigs you've ever done in a row?
Were we talking about this last night? Okay. I don't want flashbacks. The most gigs, I think it was either 19 or 22, but I had one day off in between, but it was to fly from England to Australia.
Right.
And then I had to get off
Just
the
pop
plane
over
and do
for a
it.
night,
But the
yeah.
real, I won't say who booked it, but I don't think they like me. I left England on February 12th, and I landed because of the time change in Australia on February 14th, and my birthday is February 13th, so I didn't get a birthday. In Australia, I had to do 9 shows in a row, and then had to fly to New Zealand to do another 3, and it was just...
That's a lot
I
more.
was just sitting in a hotel room watching like 007 by myself going...
What happened? You know, like my record is 13 in a row, and I have a visual record of it. We put out a live at the Rock Palace about 15 years ago in 2005, and when we did that gig in Germany at Bergsatzfeld, when we showed up for the television taping, it was our 13th show in a row. And from my perspective, is what I always found is when you're on like show number 6 of 13 in a row, you're going, we can't do this. I mean, like this is like no mas. When you hit show 9, all of a sudden the body just says, "Hey, listen, we got this," and it becomes like this.
You hit that wall, you know.
You hit the wall, and then you capitulate, or you then push through it. Yeah, and one of the things I found that back in those days was those shows, 10, 11, 12, or 13 in a row. That's when you really get the good stage chops. I mean, that's where you kind of like make you're like, wow, I've actually grown as a musician. I'm not recommending anybody do that, but it's a good way to grow.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing is as a guitar player, I could do that. I could do 13 shows in a row, you know? It's going to hurt a little bit, and probably going to pay for it when I'm 50, but the thing is I can't do this, I can't sing.
Can't sing.
And once that decides it's going, you've got no choice.
Right.
You don't really have any control over that.
Do you have a set retirement date, or are you opening?
It's about 5 years ago.
It's about 5 years.
It's about right now, Joseph.
Is it right? You're like, yeah, now that my career has hit a low point on this stage.
It's like, now that my best friend who keeps hiring his own cruise ship so he can put me on it, finding ways to torture me while I'm locked in it.
Listen, I can tell you what, if you have yourself on a beach towel in a toga, it fucks with you mentally. I can tell you that. Because I get the same gifts you get, and I walked in my room the other day and I go, this is gonna fuck me up for the rest of my life.
Do you remember taking the mickey out of you one night talking about your merch? I was like, I'm sure Muddy Waters would have loved his own beach ball.
That's right.
And he started laughing, but he was laughing a lot longer than he should have been. And I was like, you've got your own beach ball, haven't you? He's like, it's the bottom ball.
It's the bottom ball. Joanne, I must say this, I think you are a cut above, not only as a musician, but as a person. I love you, you're one of my best friends, and I'm really honored that you decide you want to do this, because we chat a lot, but not in front of an audience, and I just think you're a superstar. So thanks for doing this for me, and I do love you, and the audience loves you.